Good evening everyone and welcome to another round of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series where we are live at Sainte-Croix C layout for round 8 of the series, which is the Sainte-Croix 100. I welcome my co-host and Spud P666. Good evening Spud, how are you today?
Jarman, good evening everybody. Yes, welcome to the Sainte-Croix 100 as you've mentioned before, where we are bringing you live for Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series for round 8 of the season. So the season has flown by pretty quickly and we're on one of the most famous and well-loved tracks in the Trackstars community, where qualifying is underway, where it is actually almost 5 minutes to go, because the track is a bit over 3 minutes, Jarman. So these guys will be wanting to have a clean lap before to set the grid.
Yeah, it's going to be very crucial to make sure those laps are clean, and you might find that people go at about 90% on their first flying lap just to make sure that they get a time set out and before pushing on that final lap and then seeing what they can do. Probably looking at only 2 laps being properly timed amongst these guys, as it's about a 3-minute lap, so not many opportunities to set your lap time for this race coming up.
You see Ruckworth is the first across the line, followed by Viper Z, John O'Stan and Has Mahmood, who were actually pre-qualifier winners in the previous unstreamed lobby that I myself created. So it was Viper Z, John O'Stan, Has Mahmood, Saltash Racer 83, and it was Colin T24. That's the top 5. So leading the way in that top split, in that pre-qualifying, is Viper Z and John O'Stan, who are running simultaneously again behind each other. So probably those two are well-known friends and know each other pretty well. So maybe they're going to help each other out, Jarman.
Yeah, might be a bit of tactics there, working with the draft down some of these long straights to get themselves sorted out and improve their lap times. Although Jono's just picked up a penalty here, so that might do a bit of damage to his lap, and looks like he's jumped out of that lap time.
He's got to be quick, because he's only got about 3.5 minutes to go. So,
yeah.
Like we said, ladies and gentlemen, that the lobby is set for an 8-minute qualifying, but it doesn't really give you much time to come in, change tyres, or change your setup, and then go again.
Yeah, so this very long lap, it's going to be very touch and go for Jono to get back around and complete that lap, but just have a look here, he's down the back straight, so I think he's got plenty of time to cross the line and start his lap and also finish the lap as well, because we should remember that there's a 3-minute countdown at the end of the session. So if you only just make it in the last few seconds, you'll be in danger of not getting to actually complete that time lap.
Yeah, that's right. So John O'Stan will be begging to make the time go faster, or go slower actually, so he can actually come through and all of a sudden be clean with about, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds to go or something. But regardless, Rugworth is coming through, and what is a very nice distinct retro livery that Rugworth's got in the old Team Kiwi Racing sporting colours there. So he's a proud Kiwi, Rugworth, and obviously TKR was a very well-known V8 Supercars team that ran back in the 2005 through to 2009 era, where they ran with Paul Radisich, and their debuting Shane Van Gisbergen back in 2007 at Oran Park in 2008, whilst we had others like Chris Pither and a few others come through the ranks. But definitely it was a stepping stone for Team Kiwi Racing to produce great drivers back in the day.
Yeah, we also can't forget the late Jason Richards, as well as Craig Baird, and another couple in the early 2000s that ran with the team. As
Exactly.
Rugworth comes around to complete his lap, looks like Viper Z's gained on him, so I think he'll get the ascendancy here. But
as Viper Z comes through with the 3:01.5. Wow, what an incredible lap that Viper has set between him and Rugworth, as has come through as well with a 3:04 as well. So very crazy times we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. Saltash comes through. He's in second place behind Mickey's, taking the slipstream advantage, with Little Blacko down in 8th place. So there's only one more lap for these guys, so they have to count. But these guys, Beast Racer and Colin, side by side, that's not going to help for a fast lap.
No, it's definitely not. That'll cost each other some time here as we look at Robbo Sport coming across the line as well. See what time he does. Looks a bit slow, so down in 13th, so definitely not ideal for him. Hopefully he can put in a much cleaner lap this time around.
Exactly, so Robbo's literally got about 45 seconds to go before he can actually put the hammer down, but Saltash Racer up into second place is a great result for Saltash, who he as well is actually running a retro livery back in the, you might know, back in the day in the early GT games where they had the Ford Falcon AU V8 supercar sporting the Glen Seaton livery. So Saltash has got a bit of a retro vibes because Saltash himself, he's a friend of mine and he is a big fan of AU Falcons from back in the day, and yeah, and the only AU Falcon that was on the game was the Glen Seaton Falcon, so why not throw him a bit of a custom livery, tribute livery to one of the original touring cars from back in the day.
Yeah, you done well there with that livery, and certainly done well to recreate the Tickford Racing look with a bit of Lexus branding as well. And I'm thinking while we got a little bit of a break in times being set, maybe we can go through and have a look at some of the cars we've got out there, especially like JMX with the Toll HSV dealer team livery. I believe there's a couple of those out there from your guys.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got my guys from JMX, Xylon and Saltash who are representing the Toll Mash Buds Racing, and they've got themselves a few retro liveries for those guys. So from back in the day, from the early 2006 days where Toll and HSV came together in 2005, and 2006 2007 was the heyday era for the Toll HSV team. So it's great to see those kind of liveries back out there again.
Yeah, that's for sure. And also we must look at some of the throwback Track Stars liveries as well, like Mickey's, who's running a Pertec replica, and Devlin Calypso just ahead in an Eagle 1 replica livery as well. As we'll just jump back to Viperset, who looks like he's taken damage, so he won't improve his time. Let's see what Hasmamood's got on this. Improves his time, but still 1/10 off of Saltash Racer's lap.
But it's a great debut for Haz Mahood to be up into third place. When we look at championship leaders, Jarman, Cylon's down in 5th place, and Little Blacker, he's not even in the top 8.
No, he's well down.
But actually, he's actually come through the line right now in 3:05. So what does that actually put him?
7.
Puts him 7. So okay, there you go. And Cylon's come through as well with another 3:05. So 5th and 7th for the two main protagonists in this year's TS2 championship. Down in 5th and 7th, while newcomer Viper Zed, who made his debut in the Blue Moon Bay 500, is on pole position for the TS2 race. So it's a great start for the debuting Viper Zed, who is making his TS2 debut and for the Project 1 racing team. So a great shout for his guys to put that car on the front row. John and Stan, actually, we had to keep an eye on Jarman. We had to see what he's going to get. Is he going to get close to Viper Zed? Is he going to get himself up in towards the top 2? Yes, he does. So he's on side by side with Viper Zed for the start of the race. So congratulations, Jono and Viper Zed. What a great qualifying that was, Jarman.
Yeah, we nearly forgot about Jono there, but of course at the last second he just got that lap in and got himself on the front row, which should set up a delightful battle between himself and Viper Zed for the top 2 positions possibly.
Absolutely. So as we get ourselves towards the front of the grid, we do see Viper Zed, Jono Stan up in the front row with Saltash and Haz Mahood, the debuting Haz Mahood in 4th place with JMX and Xylon. The Toll Mash Buds in 5th and 6th with Rugworth and Blacko in 8th. So lights out, and we just go, green flag racing, and it looks like Jono Stan has got himself a good start, but Viper Zed's got an even better start. That pull from the Nissan's going to help out with Saltash right in the slipstream between Viper Zed and Jono Stan as he comes through for what is the first corner. He's going to go 3 wide into the turn 2, and who's going to come out in front? It is Viper Zed, but look at this, Jarman. Haz Mahood is in 2nd place.
Yeah,
in 1st place.
Good run here out of turn 2, and he's pulled side by side and ahead of Viper Zed, but Viper's getting right under that rear spoiler and trying to get through to slipstream. Let's see what happens here at turn 2.
And Saltash is coming through, and he's actually come through. Whoa, he's run a little bit too deep there, and he's actually cost a few drivers. It's Viper Zed and Jono stand side by side with Saltash right in behind in 3rd place with Hasmahood debuting. Hasmahood in 4th with Rugworth in 5th, Cylon in 6th, JMX in 7th, and Little Blacko in 8th there. So let's check a quick replay with Saltash. I want to hit just went a little bit too deep there, Jarman.
Yeah, possibly too deep there. Maybe something for the stewards to look at after the race too. Bit of a maybe not quite as clean move as it should have been.
Exactly. So this, we still lead the way. It is Jono Stan who's actually taken the lead of the race from Viper Zen. So we know these guys from the early FIA GT events. That Jono Stan and Viper Zen are well-known competitors and front runners in the FIA championship. So do you think these guys might run away with the victory, or could we see guys like Saltash and Cylon and Blacko show these guys what TS2 is all about?
Well, it's certainly possible at this stage, but of course it is a long race, so these guys might get into a battle with each other, and who knows.
As Viper says, about to make a move side by side with Jono Stan. He doesn't make it, unfortunately, as he's going to go side by side with Saltash right behind with the slipstream. He's going to get a slipstream from Viper Zed and Jono Stan, so a double pull for Saltash as he just runs a little bit of wide. Then he's going to compromise his exit speed with Hasmahood right behind him in Cylon 96 and 5th. As we see, Viper Zed, yes, he's going to take onto that slipstream between him and Jono Stan up into 2nd place. Oh, a bit of weaving there between Viper and Jono. It's like saying, hey, how you going, boys? As he's coming around towards the end of what I like to call the long neck straight, because it is a very long straight. As Jono Stan pulls up, he's going to keep 1st place ahead of Viper Zed, so great showing between those guys. They obviously know each other very well, Jarman.
Yeah, they've done plenty of racing together over the years and probably know what each other races like, where they can brake and accelerate and all that sort of thing, and know exactly where to get on the limits.
Slides through that corner then, and Viper Zed's just like, I'm going to take opportunity of this and going to get myself into 1st place. As Viper just centered out the inside. Is he going to give Jono some space around the outside? He does, but has Jono Stan got enough speed to get in the inside for the final corner? Yes, he can. So great display from these two, as Saltash is actually going to get closer with a great exit from Saltash Racing. He's going to be tucked right into the slipstream between himself and Viper Zed and Jono Stan, with Hasmahood in 4th, Cylon in 5th. And look at this, Jarmans, they're all going to go again like lap 1, 3 wide into turn 1. Surely not, but twice in a row, it actually is going to happen. And Saltash comes through, he's going to run Jono Stan wide, and Viper Zed has taken the opportunity to come through and take 1st place. So with his pace initially, he's going to probably run away with this victory.
Yeah, it's definitely something they didn't need to fight too much, and looks like Viper Zed just might have that crucial gap that's necessary for this race to run away with it.
And look at that, Saltash was on 1st place, and now he's dropped down to 5th. So that mistake that he made battling for a 3 wide moment was a little bit too much for him. So he's dropped down into 5th, and something for him to reassess about and think about his moves. As he's actually run a bit drifted wide there, Jarman, as I caught a little bit of a glimpse there. Saltash has actually gone into the sand. Yes, he has, as we might catch a quick replay of what happens there. He must have just dipped a bit of his left rear tyre onto the gravel trap.
Yeah, it's a very tough corner to get right. You can find yourself drifting out too wide on entries. He's just had a bit of a wobble, and it's sent him into the dirt.
Oh, that's very unlucky for Saltash Racer there. He knows he's back from the back of his head, and he knows that a mistake like that can cost you. So he's going to be down with himself, but he's got a long way to go. We're only on lap 2, but because it's a 3+ minute lap, it's going to feel like forever.
Yeah, his Viper's just extended that lead out to, well, over 2.5 seconds now, and it's looking very strong at this point of the race. As Hasmahood and Jono Stan are now locked into battle for 2nd place here. Jono will be looking to get by really quick and gets really tail happy out of that corner there, heading off the bridge. Definitely not the run he wants, but maybe he'll set himself up down the long straight to get in the draft here.
Exactly, and the Lexus Power in a straight line that we know after that Blue Moon Bay 500 jump is very strong with the pull, and the Honda just doesn't really have much to catch up with. So he'll be looking to make a move on the inside at the end of Long Neck Straight as he tucks really low into that wing rear wing, and he has done perfectly, and he's set himself up perfectly for an inside move on Haz Mahood, who's making his debut as well for ironic colours, the It's Racing Esports. So a new signing for you, Jarman.
Yeah, it was a bit of an unknown for us, but we did take a gamble here, and it looks like it's paying off reasonably well at the moment. So hopefully you can keep on track and get hopefully what's the first podium of the night for the team.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like John Stan's copped himself a half-second penalty there, so he'll be looking to burn that off in the 3 designated burn zones coming up on the straight and towards the back end of the track. So as we see, Haz Mahood's in 3rd, Cylon's actually in 4th place, and John Stan does serve his penalty. Cylon and Little Blacker, so the top 2 protagonists in 4th and 5th. So with these new guys coming into the race, they're kind of spoiling their plans for big points, Jarman.
Yes, but
as they go side by side, Cylon and Little Blacko side by side coming up towards turn 2. Who's going to get the run? It looks like it's Cylon, but look at that. Rugworth has gone underneath the rear wing, and they're working together to pull away from Little Blacko, as JMX looks like he's going to make a move on Little Blacko as well there. So great work from the Toll Boys and the TKR VL Racing driver in Rugworth. So great display from those guys. Those retro liveries looking very nice, boys. It was really awesome.
Yeah, Little Blacko just snuck back down the inside of Rugworth there. Looked like a bit of a cheeky move, but one that paid off reasonably well.
It looked like a really good move there, so great move for Little Blacko. So this fight still rages on as Viper said, Haz Mahood and Jonathan are actually in that top 3. But as we look down towards the grid, we did see JMX and Colin T24 as well, who was a driver from the pre-qualifying, as we see a 3-wide moment between JMX, Rugworth and Little Blacko. Doesn't come into fruition, so nice racing there, boys. Colin, yes, he came 4th in that pre-qualifying race, in pre-qualifying session, so he's put himself up into P9 for Ice Racing. So a great debuting for Ice Racing and Bencho GLR 19's team, up into 8th place. And we've looked down as well, Mick Ease as well is up into 9th in his very nice retro Track Stars touring car as well, with Broccolilli in 10th, also another Ice Racing driver, and Saltash in 11th, with Beast Racer down in 12th place, Devlin Calypso in 13th, with Robbo Sport in 14th, and Benjo GLR 19, the leader of the Ice R Racing team, in 15th place. As we look up towards the front, it is still 5%, and Haz Mahood is still holding up, is still doing a great job holding up Jono Stan, Jarman. So your driver's done a really good job to hold him up and keep him honest, you could say.
Yeah, he's certainly keeping it clean out there, and well, from what we can see at the moment, keeping it clean. And Jono's using that slipstream to good effect and gets up the inside, but maybe overshoots the corner a bit too much, and that lets Haz Mahood back on the inside of him, back into 2nd place. So this battle could rage on for a fair bit.
Yeah, it could rage on for a little while, but Jonathan will look to make a move, because look at the gap between Haz 1st and 2nd is 5.6 seconds. So he's going to have to make a move, Jonathan, because he's going to have any chance of catching Viper then, because we do know that Jono and Viper are well-known, respected fast drivers in their respective teams. So, and in the FIAs as well. So they'll be looking to match each other in pace, but Haz Mahood is a bit of a roadblock.
Yeah, and well, he is well within his rights to defend as he sees fit, but I think he's been very robust in his defence, but also not too aggressive.
Side by side between those two, this is great quality racing. You know who this is bringing as well, Jam? It's bringing in Xylon and Blacko, so Haz is doing a great job in bringing those guys in, the 2 protagonists in the TS2 championship, Xylon and Little Blacko, with Xylon just getting the upper hand on Little Blacko, where there is a 74 points difference between those 2 drivers, with Little Blacko leading the way as he makes a move on Xylon 96 on the inside. Lovely move from Little Blacko there, so great move, and we're going to see this battle rage on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's probably one of the battles that has championship implications, if you ask Mark Scaife, so it'll be one that follow very closely and see how it pans out, and whether Little Blacko continues to get the upper hand as he has so far in this championship.
Absolutely, and if we do look at the points right now, it is Little Blacko with on 866 on 866 points, with Xylem with 792 points. So, like I said, it was a 74-point difference between those two drivers. But if you look further back, between 3rd and 6th place, there's only a mere 38 points between JMX, Rugworth, Mickey's, and Robbo Sports. So this could also be a handy battle for the minor placings in 3rd place.
Yeah, and every point will count towards their championship standing, so it'll be one that will probably go all the way down to when we come back to Sainte-Croix back in December at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that this won't be the last time we see these cars around Sainte-Croix C, because we'll be coming back here for our final rounds in round 22. So we're on round 8. So come join us for round 22 as the weeks and months go by, and we'll be back here again for the Track Stars Touring Car Series Enduro. So this will offer up plenty of surprises for drivers picking up co-drivers from TS2, like they do back in V8 Supercars and Super 2 series. And even as well, probably they can get some mates that are not in the series, but they can pair up with each other for the final round, which will be the final round, 1,500 kilometers, I must add, which is, put into simple terms, 139 laps, Jarman. So a lot of laps going to be done here in December.
Yes, so basically take Bathurst, halve it, and then add Bathurst on again, and you've got a Sainte-Croix 1,500.
Exactly, that is crazy. And as John O'Stan also picked himself another penalty there. So we look at John O'Stan and Has, these guys looks like they're matching each other pace-wise. I'm not so sure on what their lap speed is like, but they're matching each other pace-wise, and it's actually, like I said, bringing in Little Blacko and Xylem, but looks like Xylem's just made a little bit of a mistake back there. So looks like it's just going to be a battle between Has, Jono, and Little Blacko could make a feature in this. As well.
Yeah, it's been an interesting performance for Little Blacko. He qualified down the order, and maybe it wasn't reflective of his true speed, and who knows, maybe he didn't quite get the practice in that he would have liked before tonight's race. Now he's just coming to terms with the circuit as he goes on through tonight, and now he's starting to find that pace in the car.
This will definitely help him for the main series coming up in an hour and a half's time, where he'll actually be piloting the Robbo Sport Racing Entry livery alongside Lirox 22. So this is definitely a good track time for Little Blacko to be circulating around and running around with the likes of John O'Stan, Viper Z, and even a guy like Has Mahmood. So he's doing really well to keep himself up into 4th, and it's his main championship rival Xylem in 5th place. I'm not so sure what the gap is between those two, but it looks like he's pulled away from Xylem.
Yeah, it's just over a second at the moment, so it's not completely safe. There's still half the race left to go, I'd say, as we're pretty well halfway around lap 5.
Exactly, and as we do see down there in 8th place, Saltash has made a bit of a recovery up into 8th place, so he'll be looking to make a move quickly up on JMX and Rugworth. So he'll be looking to make a final impact for his final race here at Track Stars Racing Series, where in the next couple of weeks, he's going to become a father for the 2nd time, with a newborn on the way in 2 weeks' time. So a big ups and a big congratulations for Saltash Racer for the 2nd child on the way, and we hope you enjoy your father life for the next few months, Salty. So all the best, and you will be missed in the Track Stars community.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations to him, and yeah, also he will definitely be missed by all of us, and maybe some time down the track he might be able to rejoin us, but of course we do understand what the parenthood commitments are like.
Absolutely, and he has mentioned to me that he wouldn't mind coming in for a few sneaky rounds, either in the touring cars or in the formulas, but as I said to him, look, parenting comes first and family comes first, so look after them and enjoy life with the newborn. So who knows, maybe he can come in, and maybe his missus is going to be like, well, you can come in and have a race while I look after the kid, and he'll be like, I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm sure if he's given the opportunity, I'm sure he'll snatch it up with both hands.
Exactly. And as we look at Robo Sport, he's also running a retro livery, so it looks like the old kind of Mobile One entry that they were running sporting back in the late 90s and early 2000s there, unless that's actually a Trackstars replica diecast. So why don't you explain to our viewers, Jarman, why this round is very special to you and to the Trackstars community?
Yeah, so the origins of this series obviously came from the Trackstars diecast cars that you probably saw in supermarkets about 20 odd years ago. So for this event we thought, considering there's 2 rounds at Sainte-Croix, we decided to do something different and make it a bit of a throwback round. So the idea was for everyone to sort of pick a Trackstars diecast and then try and replicate it on these Group 2 cars, and Robo Sport has actually chosen to go with what was the Valvoline livery on a Trackstars car. So it's a quite simple one, but pretty effective as well once you slap those Valvoline logos on. But obviously we've replaced them with our own sponsors, especially brands that sort of approve of us being, well, us showing them on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. And I think the theme in general has caught on with some of our TS2 drivers. So like we saw in the earlier broadcast, that even Devlin Calypso has got himself a Trackstars diecast livery. So which one did that come from, Jarman? His livery?
Came from the Eagle 1 car, so...
The Eagle 1,
we
yes.
did remove the Eagle 1 logos, yeah, just to be on the safe side.
Exactly, but it's got the origins in the same colours as the Eagle 1 cars. It was the Alfa Romeo, I believe it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Same as what Robo Sports was as well.
And like I said, the theme has carried on, and I think everyone's hopped on board on that Trackstars liveries, retro liveries, diecast liveries, but also drivers as well. Like my guys in the Toll Mash Buds Racing, we've gone a bit of retro as well. So we've replicated a few drivers with few cars of our own. So we've had 3 in total, but unfortunately our 3rd driver coming for you couldn't make the main race because he couldn't put in a fast enough time to be in the main race. So we've got 2 Toll Mash Buds Racing retro liveries from 2006 back in the old... Oh, actually, I might cut away from that. John Stans looks like he's made a mistake, and he's picked up damage with Little Blacko right behind him. So we'll come back to our history story later, but it looks like Haz Mahood is coming to go a little bit past Jono Stan, but Jono has to hold that position for a little bit longer, for maybe at least another 10-15 seconds before that damage repairs itself.
Yeah, and very advantageous from Haz Mahmood there. At the same time that Jono took the damage, I think Little Blacko sort of zigged when Jono zagged, and Haz Mahmood just judged the gaps perfectly there to get through into 2nd place and take advantage. So
absolutely right.
Very good driving to regain some positions as Little Blacko dives down the
inside.
inside.
This is a great battle for 2nd place, ladies and gentlemen. Haz Mahmood, Little Blacko, and Jono Stand. There's a little bit of weaving there from Haz Mahmood, so that's a little bit cheeky from him, so unfortunately he might not be able to do much. Oh, as it comes for a late move, cutting off Little Blacko there. Little Blacko's definitely not going to be happy about that. As they go 3 wide, and oh my god, there's actually contact between the 3 cars, squeezing each other into the Armco, with Little Blacko coming out worse. Does this bring Xylon 96 closer to Little Blacko? It has, but has Little Blacko copped any damage? No, he hasn't, so he was very lucky there. Unfortunately, no damage for him, but very aggressive driving between the 3 cars, the 3 leading cars, all fighting for 2nd place, while Viper said once again has checked out. So it is a battle for 2nd place, Jarman. So definitely one to keep an eye on come lap 9 of 9.
Yeah, something maybe Jono was going to have to try and maybe clean things up, as Haz Mahmood's coming off track there as well.
Oh, that's a bit unlucky there, and he can't control the car, and he's had a bit of a big spin there, so he's catch a quick replay of what has happened and what has been a positive round for Haz Mahmood, and a great showing in pre-qualifying has all ended with this one simple mistake, Jarman.
Yeah, just run a bit too wide coming out of that corner, and yeah, just struggling to gather it up on the dirty tyres here, so...
And just makes a bit of a mess again, and just starts rotating around, and he's dropped himself down into 11th, so... Oh, that was a very unfortunate showing from Haz Mahmood there, who was looking so great and keeping up and keeping up with the pace of John O'Stan and Little Blacko and Xylon. So a race to forget, but a race with good positive thoughts coming out of it as well.
Yeah, he's certainly shown plenty of speed so far, and of course there's still 3 laps left in this one, so plenty of time to recover from it, as you've seen from Saltash Racer, who's actually right on the back of this group here, as I'm sure you just saw him at the back of the shot.
I just did see that there, but it's a great recovery from Saltash after his mistake on lap 2. So we're on lap 7. So this track does help drivers that know it very well. If they've been practicing a lot during the week and put in the hours and they know the track from the top of their head, it definitely is going to help him out, especially for Saltash, who's actually been racing here the longest out of myself and a few others. So he's been one putting in a lot of hours into this track, and it's helping him out, and he's up into 7th place and right behind Rugworth for 6.
Yeah, so maybe he's looking to still recover something from what is looking like his final race. And while I've got a little bit of a break here, I'll just mention anyone interested in racing with us to head over to our Trackstars Racing Series Facebook page, and there should be plenty of links there to our Discord server, which will help get them involved in the series. And certainly amongst the TS2 series, we've got 2 lobbies of racing tonight, so there's plenty of room for extra drivers to join in, and we will certainly accommodate as many people as possible.
Absolutely right. So it's a great series where we've got our touring cars with the Group 2 cars, as you see on the screen right now, and that could be you fighting up for the podium position or even for a top 5 there. So if you do like what you see, head on over to our Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can catch all the action live and free on the home of YouTube, where you can actually see yourself or a mate of yours race hard and possibly for the race victory. But as you see, coming up towards the last couple of laps, Rugworth has actually made a mistake there and has actually promoted Saltash into 6th place there. So that was an easy pick for Saltash. Now he's got JMX to make it a top 5, what could be a great recovery for Saltash Racer, who was earlier fighting for the lead.
Yeah, certainly great recovery here, and 1.4 seconds is certainly achievable in what I'll call the last 1.5 laps of this race. So about 15 kilometres of racing left. So some tracks you're probably looking at about 3 laps worth of racing.
Exactly, and here you've only got like a lap and a half, so all corners count, and it's basically a mixture between slow corners, slow speed technical corners, as well as high speed straights. So it is basically a circuit that is a true test of the driver's knowledge, as we've mentioned earlier, for a 3+ minute lap. So every corner counts for Saltash to get close to his teammate in JMX. But whether JMX is going to let him go by, or this is definitely going to help out, or if Salty's going to be thinking about the the drivers' championship, and that JMX is well ahead of him in the championship and has a good gap between him and Rugworth, between 5th and 7th place. As we look up towards the front, it is so leading the way for, coming up towards the second last corner, towards the final corner, it'll be Viper Z leading the way, as we do see a yellow flag, Jarman. Who is this that's actually gone off here? It is actually John O'Stan, Jarman. So John O'Stan has made a big mistake, as we might be able to catch a quick replay of what happened there. He's come through that section, he's come through it cleanly, but he's just caught the grass and he's had a big spin and he's copped himself some damage there. So very unlucky for John O'Stan for his first race in the Trackstars Touring Car TS2 series, dropping himself down all the way down to possibly 6th place there. So not a great sign, not a great start to your debut, but the same could be said for Haz Mahmood as well. But one guy that's had a great start in his TS2 series is Viper Z, who is leading the way by a fair margin between himself and Little Blacko in 2nd place, with Cylon actually being promoted to 3rd place, with JMX in 4th, Saltash in 5th, Rugworth in 6th, and John O'Stan after that crucial mistake in 7th place, with only got down all the way down lap to go, with Mickey's in 8th and Colin T9 in 4th. As we did see Saltash drop a position there behind Rugworth, so Rugworth has actually come up and he said, well, I need that placing, so I need that placing to keep close to JMX. So I know you're a part of my team, but I'm sure I'm going to fight you off for it. As John Stan's actually run too deep there, so it's going from bad to worse for John Stan, Jarman.
Good run there from Jono in the last few laps. Maybe a bit of length of the race is maybe not quite handling the endurance of this, although he is used to running 3-hour races, so probably...
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe... Yeah, hard one to explain. Maybe just losing some concentration towards the end and something you may need to work on for future races. But yeah, Little Blacko up into second now, so looks like the podium places are nearly all but set between the first three here, barring any mistakes.
Exactly, and a guy like Cylon96 doesn't need to make mistakes, so he did want to keep close to Little Blacko in the championship, and he has done being in place behind him, so it's points increasing for Little Blacko there, but Cylon knows that he can actually take a fight for Little Blacko there.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch out for, and maybe who knows what will happen, whether Little Blacko gets a call up into the main game with Farrell PS withdrawing from the series, so that might open the door for Xylon to just take the lead through that avenue. But in the case that Little Blacko continues racing, at some point you're probably going to have to say that finishing one spot behind isn't going to be enough for Xylon, and you'll have to start getting the runs on the board and start finishing ahead and gaining those points back.
Exactly right, and as we're coming towards the second last corner, what can we say about Viper said? We hasn't seen much TV time, but I think the most crucial thing is not about TV time, it is actually about winning the race as he rounds the final corner. Viper said racing for Project 1 Racing takes victory here for the Sainte-Croix C100 kilometer, with Little Blacko in second place, followed by Xylon96 barring any mistakes, with him in third place, and JMX coming towards fourth. But I did see Saltash was a little bit closer to JMX coming towards before we cut away there. So Little Blacko is going to take second place for a well-driven recovery there for Little Blacko there in second, and third place with Xylon 96 and JMX and Saltash. So Mash Buzz Racing third, fourth and fifth there. So great recovery for at least Saltash, and a great top five for Saltash for his final race in for us at Track Stars Racing, with Rugworth in sixth and Jono Stan in seventh place. What could have been, Jarman? An easy second, all now down in seventh.
Yeah, it was looking like a podium for Jono, but unfortunately those couple of mistakes there really dropped him down the order as a Beast Racer comes across the line to round out the top 10, and has Mahmood in 11th on his debut, Broccolilli 12th, Robbo Sport in 13th, and then Devon Calypso 14th, and Benjo GLR looks like he finished a lap down in 15th by the looks of things.
Looked like he did finish a lap down there, so one guy we can't take victory away from, it is Viper Z coming out, taking victory at the Sainte-Croix 100 for TS2 Track Stars Racing Series. It is Viper Z who has led the way from start to finish after what was an incredible battle for the first few corners and the first few laps. But as soon as he took the lead after a brilliant undercut move after turn 2, he just pulled away. Jarman, no one could stop him.
Yeah, once he got that gap, he was just gone from there. So very, very good win for Viper Z, and made the most of what was given to him. So yeah, congratulations to him on the win.
Exactly right. And as we look towards the results page, as we did say, yes, it is Viper Z that has come through, taking the victory for his team, for Project 1 Racing, for Racing Team, in first place with Little Blacko. A great recovery after a not so great qualifying for Little Blacko standards, up into second place with Xylon, JMX and Saltash Racer rounding up the top 5 for the Toll Boys, for the Toll Mash Buds Racing in the third, fourth and fifth place respectively. So Xylon losing points on Little Blacko, but he knows that he needs to start making a move very soon. As we see Rugworth as well in 6th place with Jono Stan in 7th. Mickey's 1, 2, 3 in 8th place. So the second Robbo Sport Racing entry car in 8th place, with Colin T24 on debut for Ice Racing, for Ice R Racing in 9th place, with Beast Racer rounding up the top 10. So great showing for Beach Racer as well in making it in the top 10. But we have to talk about this guy, Haz Mahmood, in 11th place. What could have been for him, Jarman?
Yeah, it was certainly looking on for a podium, well, definitely in podium contention, but sadly it wasn't to be for him, and a bit like Jono as well, they both made some mistakes there that could have seen them on the podium instead if they'd kept it on the track.
Exactly, and Haz Mahmood, he's definitely got a lot to learn in this series, but it's a great start for him, and he can be pretty happy with his performance just before that mistake. So to take it to a guy like Viper Z and Jono Stan and Saltash Racer, it's a pretty good debut.
Yeah, that's very, very right there. So he'll have a lot to build on in future rounds, and it'll be exciting to watch between probably the 3 or 5 guys up the front in coming rounds.
As we see in 12th place, Broccolilli, who actually had a bit of a quiet race, Jarman, so we didn't really get to see much of Broccolilli in that race, unfortunately. So maybe he didn't get much practice in around this track, being down in 12th place, because we do know he's a lot faster than that, especially in the endurance series as well in his BMW. So probably one he didn't get a lot of practice on, but that's okay. But with Robbo Sport down into 13th, with Devlin 14th and Benjo GLL 19th, as you did say, finished the lap down in 15th place. Rounding up the top 15 here at Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series, where we are going to be signing off here, ladies and gentlemen. So we do thank you very much for tuning in for the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series for round 8 at Sainte-Croix. And stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We do have the main series race sponsored by Elite Brake and Mechanical coming up in an hour and a bit's time. But Jarman, any last words? Are you excited for this race coming up for your diecast Trackstars liveries on track?
Yeah, I'm definitely very excited to see all these cars somewhat brought to life on the game. So should be fun to see, and maybe I'll be getting plenty of photos afterwards. And should also mention that the main series race will be broadcast on Twitch instead of our normal avenue this week, as we have Shane Kenty taking the reins with the stream in place of Adam Weller, who's now moved on to some real life commentary in a number of British tracks at places like Brands Hatch and Silverstone that many of you guys would know. So it's good to see that Adam's getting back out there, and as the situation improves over in England.
Absolutely, and we do send our best regards to Adam and all the best for his upcoming gigs on the tracks and doing something that he loves doing. So, and I guess in a way something that pays him. So as much as we love to see him racing and commentating our series, but he needs to. I guess money is always a thing, especially over there in England as well, where money is always a bit tight and a bit and it's a little bit expensive over there. So anything's possible. He'll take what he can. So we hope to see him very soon back at Trackstars. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we will sign off on behalf of Jarman Dale, It's Racing, and myself, and Spud P666. We bid you guys a farewell and a good night. Stay tuned and subscribe and join us on Shane Kenty Twitch coming up. So on behalf of myself and Jarman, it